Hello everyone, I'm Arunima from Knit and Otter, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make the feather stitch. Here is a little dishcloth that I made using this stitch. It is a very pretty stitch and it is a very simple stitch. Once you get the hang of it, it's very easy to make and it builds some very sturdy fabric, so this dishcloth is perfect to make with it. At the end of this video I'm going to mention the instructions for making this dishcloth, exactly how this is, and let's get started. I'm going to start with making a row of 15 half double crochet foundation stitches, and you are welcome to make these as a row of foundation half double crochet stitches or just regular half double crochet stitches. You just need to make sure that you have an odd number of stitches in your foundation row, and I have a separate tutorial for making the half double crochet foundation stitches, which you're welcome to check out. I'm going to add a link to that tutorial in the description below, and I'm going to go ahead and make 15 of these and see you on the other side of the video. So this is the first row that you make when you are making this stitch. So you start with a row of half double crochet stitches and you have to make sure that you have odd number of stitches on your row. Now I'm going to make the second row, which is you chain one, turn your work, and you start with making a half double crochet in that first stitch here. So that's my half double crochet, and then I'm going to chain one, I'm going to skip the next stitch and then make a half double crochet in the next one, and I'm going to do this all the way till the end of the row. So chain one, skip one, and half double crochet in the next, chain one, skip one, half double crochet in the next. And this is the last one. So in this row you get a sort of a mesh. You get half double crochet stitches and chain spaces, so half double crochet chain, half double crochet chain, all the way till the end. Now moving on to row 3, this is where we will start making our feathers. So you make a chain, turn, and you start with the same way as we started row 2. You start with making a half double crochet in that first stitch. After you've made the first half double crochet, you chain one and then yarn over, insert your hook in this first chain space, pull that loop a little so it aligns with the rest of the stitches, yarn over, and then insert this hook into this skipped stitch right under that chain space, yarn over, pull through this and pull that a little so it again the height aligns with the rest of the stitches. So that's 5 loops on the hook, yarn over and insert your hook in the next chain space, yarn over, pull through. So that's 7 loops on the hook. Again, make sure that all of these stitches, the height of those align with each other, otherwise the stitch will become too tight and it'll pull the fabric down. Now yarn over and pull through all 7 loops and chain one. So that completes the first feather. It has 3 sort of legs, so that's one here, and one here. I'm going to make the next one now. So start with a yarn over, insert the hook in the same chain space as that last leg from the previous feather was. So yarn over, pull through, pull that a little bit, and then yarn over, find that skipped stitch under the current chain space, yarn over, pull through and pull that loop up, yarn over, find the next chain space, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. That's 7 loops, yarn over, pull through all and chain one. You just have to keep going all the way till the end of the row. So chain space, skipped stitch, chain space. chain 1, chain space, skipped stitch, chain space, chain 1, and this is going to be the last feather. So there is this chain space here, there's only one left, so I'm going to make this first leg here, second here, and third in that last chain space, and yarn over, pull through all 7, chain 1, and yarn over and make a half double crochet in the last stitch. So that's the last stitch, make a half double crochet there, yarn over, pull through, and that completes the first row of feather stitches. So that looks really pretty. I think this stitch looks great with any kind of yarn. It could be variegated, it could be self-striping, it could be just solid. So and this is a reversible pattern, so it looks the same on both sides. So this is how the front side is, and this is how the back is. Now we're going to make row 4, which is going to be another row of feather stitches. This is going to be slightly different from the previous row because we don't have a row of half double crochet stitches to work with. So I'm going to show you how to do this now. I was supposed to chain 1, so I'm going to chain 1. I already turned, so I have my wrong side in front now, and now I'm going to make my first half double crochet stitch just like the previous row, chain 1, and now to make your feather stitch you have to insert your hook in that first chain space. This is also the same as the previous row, yarn over. Now the difference is, now that we do not have a half double crochet stitch to insert our hook into, we'll just find the chain space that's right below the current chain space, insert the hook there, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over, insert hook into the next chain space, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 7 loops on the hook and chain. So that makes the next feather, and you keep going. So I'm going to do one more, yarn over, insert hook in the next chain space, which is the same as the last leg where the last leg of the previous one was made, yarn over, find that chain space right under the current chain space, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over and insert hook into the next chain space and pull through all 7 and chain 1. So that makes the second feather. Keep going until you reach the end. And this becomes very easy to make because after a point you don't really have to look at your work to find where the chain spaces are. It's very simple to just feel the fabric and figure out where the chain space is to make the next feather. So I find this stitch very meditative because it's very simple to make, and it creates a beautiful pattern, and I don't really have to concentrate really very hard, and it's very easy to say watch Netflix while making this because I don't have to really concentrate as hard to make the stitch. So I've stopped here at the last stitch. I've got my second leg in, and the third one is this last chain space that is in this row, and I make my third leg there and yarn over, pull through all, yarn over, chain 1, and make a half double crochet in that last stitch. So this is how it looks after 2 rows of feather stitches, but this is row 4 of this entire swatch, and this is how it looks on the other side. So it's hard to say which is the right side and which is the wrong side, but as I said, it's a reversible pattern, so it looks the same on both sides. Now you can keep going and repeat row 2 all the way until the length you need. It's just a repeat of one row, so you keep going until you get to the end. So I'm going to make one more row. So I'm going to make a half double crochet here, chain 1, and my first feather, and chain 1 and make the half double crochet in the last stitch. So that completes the third row of feather stitches. So you could see that row 2 and row 3 were exactly the same. And now I'm going to assume that I've made the length that I need, so I could keep going and make more rows with the exact same repeat. But I'm going to stop here and I'm going to make my last row. This is to show you how to finish this pattern, how to finish a swatch with this stitch. So because we started with a row of half double crochet stitches, I'm going to end it with a row of half double crochet stitches, and it doesn't matter which side you're on. You could be on the right side or the wrong side. This is going to be exactly the same. So you start with a chain 1 and half double crochet, and you make a half double crochet in this chain space, and then you make a half double crochet on top of this feather stitch, and the next half double crochet in the next chain space. You keep going until you reach the end. So half double crochet in the feather, half double crochet in that space, half double crochet in the feather, and half double crochet in that last chain space, and then half double crochet in that last stitch. And at this point you can fasten off, cut the yarn, and weave in your ends. So this is how it looks from the front, and this is how it is at the back. It looks exactly the same. It is really pretty. I love how this looks even in this color. So I'm going to now, as promised, show you how, give you the pattern to make this dishcloth. I actually made it in two, this variegated yarn and this solid color. They both, I think they both look really, really pretty. So this dishcloth measures about 7 inches by 7 inches. I think the length is slightly more than the width, but I had to accommodate that one half double crochet, so that's the reason I have this, and I wanted it to end with this color, so I modified it a bit. But you could pick whatever number of stitches you want. I used 23 stitches in my foundation chain here. I'm sorry, in the foundation row here. You could use any number of stitches. You could actually make it with any yarn. I have used Lily Sugar and Cream yarn in 2 colors. So the this one is Lily Sugar and Cream, and the colorway is Violet Stripes, and I used a 5.5 millimeter hook. The yarn calls for a 5 millimeter hook, but I used a 5.5 because this is a very dense pattern and I wanted my stitches to be a little loose, so I used a 5.5 millimeter hook. You could go up You could use a larger hook if you wanted to, or a smaller hook. It's completely up to you, depends on the kind of fabric you want to build. But I used this, and I made a total of 18 rows, so that includes the first and the last row. So that half double crochet row and this one, both included, there's 18. This one is made with Lily Sugar and Cream, the color hot blue. So both of them are made with Lily Sugar and Cream cotton yarn, and they came out really nice. That's pretty much it for the pattern for this dishcloth. I will have written instructions for this on my blog if you're interested. I have a bunch of other tutorials on my channel and a bunch of free patterns on my blog. If you're interested, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so you can get notifications for when I post new videos, and I hope to see you in my other videos. Bye bye.